Hey everyone, welcome back. So I hope everyone is having a great Friday. The week is finally over, and we had another fun day today in the markets. So we're going to go through what happened with S&P, Dow, NASDAQ. Bitcoin was up today. Ethereum was up today also. So we'll look at that. Miners were a little bit mixed. We'll go through it all, see how it all planned out. And then we're going to talk about two things here. Mawson, Sphere 3D, finally they provided January production updates. So we'll go through that really quickly. I'm hoping to have this video under 20 minutes for you guys, and we'll be done, and then we'll see what happens over the weekend. All right, so as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams. I'm investing in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out. So let's get into the markets here, see what's going on there. So the S&P was actually down today 0.28% to 4,079. Dow Jones was up a little bit, 0.39% to 33,826. NASDAQ was down a little bit, 0.68% to 12,358. Bitcoin was actually up today. It was a kind of crazy day here on Bitcoin. If we look at it on the daily chart, we can see yesterday we closed below our support resistance line of 23,800. Today we battled with it quite a bit here. If we look at the 1 hour chart, you can see here that we were battling with that support resistance. It's looking like it's kind of going to be support right now, but it was acting as resistance. Here a little bit, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we touched it and then finally broke above it. So that's a good sign there. Hopefully we stay above it. If we do, then we might be going up higher here. But right now, if we look at the 4 hour chart really quick here, RSI is at 62, which is good because if you look at where the price is right now, if you go back to where the price was back here, RSI was much higher. So this is a good sign. Right there on the 1 hour chart, same thing. You can see that the RSI is now at 61. And let's see here. Last time we were at this price, you can see here that the RSI was also, if you go back to here, the RSI was a little bit lower actually on that one. But if you go far enough back, price was higher at that point, around the same spot. And right here, and the RSI was higher. So we'll have to see how the 1 hour chart actually plays out. 4 hour chart looks a lot better. And then today, it ended up being up 4.51%, so I had a really good day. I'm surprised that not all the miners went up with Bitcoin today. It was kind of weird that Bitcoin's going up, but the miners weren't going up for the most part. They were actually going down beginning of the day. Then towards the end of the day, they kind of popped up a little bit. Some of them at least did. Okay, so that's kind of where we are at with Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Ethereum here really quick as well. Ethereum was up today as well. It was up 3.45% on the day, which is good there. And on the 4 hour chart, we can see the RSI is also at 64 right now. It has come down, and it is actually lower on the RSI than last time. It was right around here, so that's good there. 1 hour chart, RSI is at 60 right now. Last time it was around here, was back here, right around the same spot, you could say. So we'll see how that plays out, okay? Now let's take a look at the miners here really quick. Annie was up today 2.13% to 48 cents. Argo was up 2.78% to $1.85. BitDigital was up 2.76% to $1.49. Bitfarms was up 5.71% to $1.11. Had a good day. Cypher was up 0.53% to $1.90. CleanSpark was down today 0.29% to $3.38. Cores was down 1.53% to 35 cents. DigiHost was down 4.92% to $1.74. DMG was down 0.39% to 24 cents. Greenidge was down 3.22% to 60 cents. Hive was up 2.43% to $3.37. Hut 8 was up also 1.52% to $2.01. Iris Energy was down 9.64% to $3.75. Marathon was up nicely 6.8% today to $7.70. Mawson was down 4.23% to $2.86. And then Riot was up 3.62% to $6.59. Soluna was down 1.74% to 33 cents, and TerraWolf was down 5.66% to 63 cents. Okay, so like I said, kind of mixed day in the miners. Like I said, I was surprised that they didn't go up with Bitcoin. So not sure what's going on there. And let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick. It has gone up here. This is, let's go look at the 7-day average. 7-day average has peaked to a new all-time high of 308 million terahashes. Prior high was at 295. So miners are getting installed. 1 day looking at it, we've peaked also on the 1 day to 348 million terahashes. Our previous high was 327 million. So miners are definitely getting installed here with Bitcoin price going up. a lot more miners are now profitable. The ones that weren't possibly before, they're getting plugged back in, and they are hashing away. Okay, so that's gonna contribute to the miners possibly making less than what are we in? We're in February right now. February and going forward, if hash rate stays up like this. But as long as Bitcoin goes up in value faster than the network hash rate percentage-wise, then this should offset that quite nicely as well. All right, so let's take a look at our first story here that we do have, which is going to be on, we'll take a look at Mawson here really quick. Mawson provided their January updates, and it was okay. There wasn't anything to scream about. Okay, so here's what we got. Total self-mining Bitcoin production was 34.93. It is a little bit better than it was in December. Not by much, but still better. Self-mining miners installed was 5,880. There's a reason for it, so it's actually decreased from December, and it's a pretty big decrease. But we'll take a look at why that is. Energy market program revenue, approximately 300,000 that they made for it. And then hosting co-location revenue was 1.3 million. So they actually have more revenue from their hosting, co-location revenue, and then from their self-mining Bitcoin revenue. Okay, and then here's the reason why their miners are lower. In January, Mawson completed the shutdown of the facility located in Kondong, Australia. This was a strategic decision to concentrate all resources on the expanding operations in the USA. All equipment from the site is being sent to Mawson's operations in Pennsylvania, where the company has 220 megawatts of capacity available and is scheduled to be online in Q2 2023. So that will come back online possibly next quarter sometime. As far as operational focus, we won't really dive into it. They are looking to get to 4.5 by the end of Q2, and then they want to get to 8 exahash by Q4. We just don't have any miners purchased yet to get to that, and I'm sure it's going to be a mixture of self-mining and co-location mining as well. They want to continue the expansion of its 220 megawatt Pennsylvania facility. That's fine. Continue with the energy market program, so they are still curtailing quite a bit here. It looks like their price for electricity is higher sometimes than others. And let's see here. They continue to secure a portfolio of sites in its preferred geographies and jurisdictions for long-term digital infrastructure capacity. So that's good there as well. And that's it. Let's take a look at the numbers that I do have for them. So let's take a look at Mawson here really quick. Where are they? They are right here. So they have also done a reverse stock split in the last week or so. 1 for 6, I believe, that the reverse stock split was done for. So they are currently at 13.6 million shares outstanding after the split. This is one of the lowest share counts that we have as far as the miners are concerned. And their stock price is at $2.86 because of it. Market cap is 38.9 million right now. Current hash rate is at 1. Well, it should be less than that. It should be, let's see here. It should be like 532. Yeah, it should be 532 petahash. Right now, it's now 100 or 1 exahash. The future hash rate that we have reported for is 1.7 exahash. And they don't hodl anything. They're operationally about 58% installed. Once the miners from Australia get over here, they'll be back to at least the 1 exahash, and then they'll have some growth left to them. And they still have about 69% growth left. What else can we look into here? BTC production, you can see here in December they were at 23. That was the lowest that they had all year. And they went up a little bit here in January to 34.93. Their efficiency also was the lowest in December for 23 Bitcoins per exahash. It did jump up quite nicely here to 65.57, so that is a nice improvement for them there. Okay, as far as revenue is concerned, it looks like they only generated about 707,000 based on the average Bitcoin price for January, based on the 34.93 Bitcoins generated. And we know that they sell pretty much everything that they mine, so there's no hodl there. And here's what happened in December. So in December, since they shut down the facility in Australia, I'm calculating they took out some of these 90 terahash miners here that equated to approximately, what was that? About 360 petahash there. And then also these miners over here, that was an additional 654 petahash, it looks like, possibly, from what we had. Not those over here, so another 108. So it was a decrease of about 400 some odd petahash. So we only have these miners currently operating. at about 532 petahash currently, and that gave them the 707,000 in revenue for it. Now, they were operational for about 19.23 days here on average, it looks like, for the month of January. So they have done quite a bit of curtailment during that time frame. And then we'll see where they come in as far as February is concerned with the miners. So we still have some miners that need to get installed here. We have these 90 terahash miners over here, about 6,000 of those, and 1,800 of these 85 terahash miners left over here to get to the 1.7 exahash that's been reported so far. Okay, now institutions. Institutions has decreased a little bit here, but I think the share count actually went up a little bit. If you multiply that by 6, you're looking at about, was it 3.3 million shares on the old system. So all this data here is based on the old share count. This is the new one. Percentage owned of institutions did increase to 5.51 from 3.78, so that's good there. And then we still have a one buy rating, and the price target is now $12. It was $2 before. Multiply it by 6, you get $12. So that's kind of why that jumped up to $12 on it right now. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers that I do have for them. Currently, we're using the current quarter of potentially, well, I doubt they're going to get to 5.1 million if they're curtailing so much. I'm guessing it's probably be closer to maybe 2.1, maybe 2.5, depending on how many miners they install. But we're just going with what we currently have on it, and we're also using the last 3 quarters. 2 quarters are final or definitive, and then the last quarter of December ending is an estimate. I have them at 2.0 million basically in revenue, and we'll see where they come in at. Right now, that gives them a total of 29.3 million in revenue, 50% net income from gross revenue. That would get us down to, with a PE of $10.76 to $16.14 if we're using 75% net income from gross revenue on that one. So kind of in line with what the analysts are kind of looking for is at $12 for them. They could go up higher on the PE, but given that their growth isn't that great, at least currently, if they do get to 4.5 and 8 exahash, I think we might be able to get, the 15 or the 20 PE on them. So it would be $21.52 to $32.29, somewhere in between there, and depending on how much they actually have for their self-mining. Okay, so overall, they are kind of digging themselves out of the hole that they have dug themselves into from last year. They had to sell their facility to CleanSpark towards September, I believe it was, because they were just strapped for cash. So that helped them out a little bit there. And then also now concentrating on the U.S. sites instead of also in Australia, I think that's going to help them out even more there. So they are doing all the right things that they need to grow forward. Okay. Other than that, they just got to continue to grow. Like everybody else here in these miners, they just have to grow. Okay. Next, let's take a quick look at Sphere. So Sphere also provided their production updates for January. They grew their production by 111% month over month to 37.84 Bitcoin. That's a good growth for them. And here's some of the things that we can comment on. So January, this is CEO comments. January was another pivotal month for Sphere 3D with the receipt of approximately 11,000 miners and long-awaited boost in the price of Bitcoin. Once fully deployed and hashing, Sphere 3D's fleet will total approximately 15,000 units with a production capacity of 1.6 exahash. They've been at 100 petahash for a long time, pretty much all of 2022. They are starting to grow a little bit here, so that's good to see. In January, we saw the price of Bitcoin rise and sustain prices over 20,000. We have taken advantage of this market upswing and have liquidated the majority of our previously mined Bitcoin holdings. So they have sold quite a bit there. And then here's Compute North update. In January 2023, all 3,336 miners at the Wolf Hollow site were energized, so that's good. We expect that they will continue hashing, so that's good as well. And they are still working with Compute North to return their deposits through Chapter 11 process. Okay. Mining deliveries, we talked about that a little bit here, that they have those. Those have cleared customs. That's good there. They're talking about Core Scientific update also, that they're trying to get a refund also for their advances on deposits. And then Bitcoin Production Holdings update. So during the month of January 2023, the company employed a hybrid strategy of liquidating during Bitcoin price upswings and HODL for the remainder of its holdings. The company used approximately 121.65 Bitcoins during the month to fund working capital custom fees, duties, insurance, and shipping related to the delivery of approximately 11,850 S19J Pros. So they basically sold pretty much the grand majority of what they had in HODL. Bitcoin held by the company represents a fair market value of approximately 0.4 million. We'll take a look at how much that is actually in Bitcoin here. And based on the Bitcoin price of $23,079 on January 31st, as of the company was operating approximately 4,330 S19G Pro miners, delivering a production capacity of approximately 433 petahash. Okay, so that's kind of where we are at right now. So they are seeing that they have, let's see here, 37 Bitcoins. What's this? Bitcoin holdings. So Bitcoin holdings definitely came down to about 19.2. I think I have them somewhere around there. But let's just take a look at the numbers that I do have for them. Okay, Sphere 3D, yeah, I got them at 19, somewhere around there, so 19.2. So here's Sphere 3D right now, 68.6 million shares outstanding. Its current stock price is 48 cents. Market cap is at 32.9 million. So they're pretty close to, excuse me, to Mawson's market cap right now. Their current hash rate, 433 petahash, future hash rate, 1.7 exahash. They are 25% operational right now with about 292% growth left in them. And let me zoom this in, maybe make it a little bit bigger. Their average hash rate per miner is about 100 terahashes. They HODL 19 Bitcoin, valued about 432,000 right now. And their growth, you can see here that BTC production has been pretty flat and actually going down here towards the end of the year to a low of 10.28. Then finally in December, they had 17.93. And in January, now 37.84. So that's a good improvement as well. And then as far as their efficiency is concerned, they were pretty well efficient for the majority of the year, above 100, which was good. And then in December, they went down to 49, and now they're back up to 87 here currently right now in the month of January. So that 37.84 Bitcoins gave them about 766,000 in revenue. And you can see here that they sold 121.85 Bitcoins roughly to get the 2.4 million in proceeds from that. As far as January, we installed only 680 of these miners here to get us to the 433 petahash, and that is 766,000. It's a pretty good increase from December here as far as revenue is concerned, almost 100% increase, a little bit more than that, 110, 120% or so increase, so that's good. And they still have quite a bit of miners to install here. They, like they said, about 11,000 something left to go to get into this 1.7 exahash that we have them listed at. Now, institutions also increased a little bit here to 30 from 27, which was good. And shares also increased to 5.6 from 5.4. And percentage owned increased to 8.17 from 7.91. So that's good there. But we still don't have any analyst ratings on them as far as buy, sell, or hold ratings and price targets either. So that's still missing from that. And here's what we have for them. So we're using the latest quarter that we are in of 2.5 million potentially for them, depending how many miners they install in February and in March. And then we're using the last 3 quarters, which were, this one is an estimate for the quarter ending in December. The other 2 are already reported, so those are actual numbers for those. So we'll see where they come in at. So total right now, we have them at 5.3 million in revenue. If we use a 50% net income from gross revenue and a PE of 15, they should be around 58 cents. They are currently at 48 cents, so they're pretty close to where they should be, in my opinion. And if we use a 75% net income from gross revenue, then they should be around 87 cents right now. But we'll see how well they are able to grow going forward. And it's nice that they are getting the miners installed and delivered, clearing customs and everything else. Because they had, 2022, they were basically stuck at 100 petahash the whole year. Except for in December, they had a pretty nice increase here as well. Excuse me. Okay. So that is it. Yeah. They just got to continue to execute on what they have, continue their growth, and we'll see where they end up at later on this year. Yeah, so that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Spreadsheet is always going to be available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there. And we'll see what happens over the weekend. Over the weekend, I'll probably do like a bear case scenario like I did on yesterday's video for a bull case scenario. I don't think we're going to get a bear case, but we'll take a look at it just in case we do get a bear case. So we'll do that. We'll look at the miners, see how well they performed against Bitcoin this week. I think it's going to be a pretty good green week for all of them. But we'll see. And then we'll see what else happens. And then we'll cover it. All right. So that's it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.